in stark contrast to Li Bai's unabashed deification of the self. We observe a deliberate suppression of the self in this poem by Wang Wei.
Zhongnan Mountain. Taiyi Peak approaches heaven's capital. The linked mountains extend to the edge of the sea. White clouds, when I look back, converge. The greenish haze, once I walk in to see it, disappears. The divided regions, when seen from the middle peak, change. Shaded or in the sun, the myriad valleys look different. I wish to find lodgings for the night in a dwelling of man, across the brook, calling to a woodcutter.
Unlike Du Fu and Li Bai, Wang Wei does not tell us about his emotional and physical condition or his imagined feats of transcendence. Instead, he leads us through successful acts of intense visual perception. In the first couplet, he points out the Zhongnan mountain in the distance, first directing our gaze upwards along the Taiyi Peak all the way to the heaven, and then horizontally along the Link Mountain all the way to the sea. In the second couplet, he leads us away from the panoramic scene and engages us in a heightened seek, with two atmospheric images up close. By a turning in the third couplet, he changed the object of observation from the mountains to the vast plain below. This new panoramic scene delights us with its kaleidoscopic formation of patterns and colors under the effect of sun and clouds. In the last couplet, he shifts back to a nearby scene and shows us a trace of a man, a woodcutter, and a call to him from the other side of the very brook, asking for a place to stay for the night. Known as a renowned painter who founded the Southern School of Landscape Painting, Wang Wei is often praised for the painterly qualities in his poetry. This poem is certainly an excellent example of the painterly quality in his finest landscape poems. It alternates panoramic scene with close-ups and delights us with a deliberate play of colors, white clouds versus greenish haze, the chiaroscuro effect of the sun. It constantly shifts the angle of observation, now horizontal and then vertical, now from below upward and then from above downward. All these painterly qualities work perfectly to yield a rare feast of visual pleasure. Moreover, the depicted scenes and images trace the stages of a day's journey of landscape viewing, starting from a distant view, the first couplet, continuing through an uphill climb, the second couplet, and the arrival at the summit, the third couplet, and ending with the descent into the valley at the dusk, the last couplet. This poem is also a perfect example of an even more important quality of Wang Wei's finest landscape poetry: their artistic embodiment of Buddhist worldview. Interestingly, if we direct our attention to the last word in each line of the two middle couplets, we notice a string of four terms frequently used in Chinese Buddhist texts to explain the Buddhist worldview: he, wu, bian, shu. The word he is part of the term he, or the Sanskrit samagari, which refers to a composite of causes and conditions, or yin yuan, underlying the existence of all phenomenon, objective or subjective, is part of the term wu negation of two sides, neither nor, which denotes a Mahayanist exercise of double negation at preventing the reification of anything or concept as the ontological absolute. Insofar as all things, physical existence or mental constructs, arise from a composite of causes and conditions, they cannot possibly possess any essential substance, and therefore all subject to mutability, 变, the last character of line 5, and subject to differentiation, 属, the last character of line 6. It follows that the Buddhist truth is neither being nor emptiness. Wang Wei's brilliant employment of these four terms in this poem attests to his consummate achievement as a visionary poet. With a touch of genius, he turns each of the four abstract philosophical terms into a lively, quote, verse I, unquote, a pivotal word that animates the entire poetic line. Together, these four verse lines engender a sustained play of perceptual illusion. The first two verse I's, 和, converge, 无, disappear, rendered atmospheric images of clouds and haze ever so elusive that their very existence become a question. Next, the two other verse I's, 变 and 属, change and becoming different, turn the valleys and plain into a spectacle of changing shape and colors. This play of perceptual illusion culminates in the final couplet. There, we are led to envision a dwelling of man hidden in the woods, yet we cannot actually see it, and have to ask the woodcutter for its whereabouts. We seem to see a woodcutter out there, and yet we cannot get close and have to shout across the valley brook. The echoes of our own shouting in the empty valley, we surmise, might be the only answer we get. As this perceptual illusion reaches its climax, a sensitive reader can experience something like a Buddhist enlightenment, or at least share the Buddhist insight into the illusory nature of existence and emptiness, the universe and the self. For such a perfect fusion of the artistic and the religious, the sensory and the supersensory, Wang Wei is rightly honored with the title, the Poet Buddha. That's all for this episode. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the talk. Let us relax and listen to a reading of the poem in Mandarin.
终南山，王维。太乙近天都，连山到海隅。白云回望河，青霭入看无。分野中风变，阴晴众鹤殊。欲投人处宿，隔水问樵夫。